Can't hear you, Richard. Good morning and welcome to Automotive EV. My name's Peter Wooding and thank you for joining us. This morning I'm joined by Olivier Thouard from GEFCO, who will outline his perspective and views on Brexit. So thank you for joining us, Olivier, and the stage is now yours.
Thank you, Peter, and good morning to everybody. Yes, today we will speak about Brexit. So in a very short, it's a very short meeting, so I will go straight to the point, and if I can, I will add some specific comments about things you really need to know. So I will have 3 parts, which is what is at stake. I will speak about FTAs, for sure, it's a subject today, and I will speak about new operational processes. If we have time, the idea is to go through a Q&A session. If not, anyway, you can post, but Peter, I think, will add it at the end. You can post your questions through the site. So what is at stake? I won't go back to the history, but what we need to know today is that the UK left the EU already. So we speak about Brexit, but it's done already. The UK left the EU end of January this year. Now the UK is a third country, and it means the UK is allowed to negotiate FTAs with all countries. But we are today we have a transition period, which means the rules remain the same up to the end of the year. There is no question about end of transition period. It will be 31st of December. Today, there's no other option. And the important thing to understand is FTA or not. We don't know if we will have one between the EU and the UK. But if we speak from a logistic point of view, we will have a border 1st of January, which means a border means customs. And it is one of the important points. About the FTA, for sure, it's under negotiation. And we are waiting for sure for news, but yeah, we need to prepare for a no FTA Brexit beginning of next year. I will speak about the impact. Before the FTA, we have the withdrawal agreement, and I will finish with that on this slide. And we have very, very important things and details in the withdrawal agreement. So it's very important to read it or to check the chapters that concern your company. For example, Article 47 is a very important one. It's about union statutes of goods and ongoing processes. And it says that for all goods that left, that had been loaded and left a plant, for example, before end of transition period, and will be delivered thereafter, after transition period, then the goods will remain EU goods and will follow European regulation, which means for all your loadings before the end of 31st of December, you won't have any customs clearance to perform. So it was one of the biggest questions we had last year. It has been solved in the withdrawal agreement. So you have very important things in the withdrawal agreement, such as things like that. So what is at stake? In fact, you have different things. You will have customs, I said, so payment of custom duties, but it also means more than 400 million of new customs clearance to perform. For sure, it will be a little lower on the UK because you will use some simplifications at the beginning for the first 6 months. But anyway, even if it's not 400 millions, it will be a lot of millions. You also have to manage possible delays. Different analyses have been published, and the last one says that in the worst case scenario, you could stop something like 7,000 trucks on the UK side. It could lead to 2 days delay at the border. It's important to understand that 10,000 trucks at least are crossing the channel every day, and 58% of it is coming through, crossing through the French border. And also VAT rules. VAT is an important point because in the EU, each country will manage VAT differently. So if you are British and if you want to work in different states, you will have to check all VAT rules. And in the UK, the rules won't change and it will remain the same when we start. So for Europeans, the rules won't change in the UK. About FTAs and trade, the subject is, so we are waiting for the FTA for sure. And the UK already signed 20 new FTAs with countries. A lot of countries. It has been published on Her Majesty Revenue and Customs website. And the next to come, the agreement is new because it's from September the 11th, will be with Japan, which is an important one. And we hope we could have also soon another one with the EU. This slide is just to go through the possible impact, and the fact that the UK is now a third country from the EU means the UK had to define its new UK global tariff. This is examples of EU tariff, which is a common external tariff. It won't change because EU rules will never change. I mean, EU rules are EU rules, and we know them, so they won't change, including for duties. So for duties, you see that we have some differences. We also have another subject in the UK. It's because autonomous suspension may apply sometimes, but it still has to be reviewed and published. Also, you will. I won't go through all the slides, but you also have impact on duties and VAT. And for about VAT, for sure, the project and what has been published is that you will have no VAT paid on imports as soon as 1st of January because it will be postponed accounting. So also it's important. And it's important to understand that when you speak about customs origin and trade, the customs origin is not the country from where the goods are coming. If you are purchasing in Europe some goods from Morocco, you will need to apply the FTA signed between the UK and Morocco, not between EU and the UK. It's important because I know for automotive industry, the parts are moving in every side, and it's important to follow the origin of the goods. So new operational processes. The important point there is to understand that the UK process has been published in July, and in fact, it will apply in 3 stages. I will just speak about 2 of them there because I will only speak about standard goods, but you also have a stage in April. So 1st of January, for sure, I said it already, you will have customs clearance to perform. This is the first basic requirement on both sides. But on EU side, it will be classical declarations. In the UK, the decision was taken to find a way to make sure you will be able to organize the clearance because it's a huge quantity. So you will have some simplification. I will go back to the different kind of imports in the UK after. Export declaration. So for imports, we'll have some simplification. For exports, no simplification. They will have to be performed as soon as 1st of January. and also exit safety and security declarations, which is something to be performed by the carrier, will have to be performed also as soon as 1st of January. GVMS, which is the new UK system, GVMS, Goods Movement Vehicle Service, Goods Vehicle Movement Service, sorry, is a new system to follow the trucks and the goods inside. And it will start only in January for transit. So if you move from EU to the UK or UK to the EU under transit, then you will have to load some data in the GVMS to get what they call a GMR, a good movement record. So from July 2021, traders moving goods will have to make full customs declarations. Also, the full safety security declaration will be required for imports and export. It was already the case. And GVMS should be used for all movements, imports, exports, and transit. So there you have export from the EU and import in the UK. You can see that in the EU, you need an export declaration because we are working now from EU side with a third country, which is the UK. So an export declaration. But before loading or before you leave the EU, you will need a UK preload because it will be mandatory to preload a UK import declaration. When I say UK preload import declaration, it can also be a transit, a procedure. But anyway, it has to be preload. You have three important things: the CFSP with the EIDR, which entry in declarance record. It is the simplification you have in the UK to import. It is nearly, to be honest, the TSP, the previous simplification with another name. It means you cross with your AOA number, but you need a record. You have this SFD, the Simplified Frontier Declaration, which already exists today. And then the importer or the broker must have a CFSP authorization and the full frontier declaration procedure, which also already exists. ATACarnet, TIR, and I said transit. Everything must be preloaded in the GVMS to get the good movement reference, the good movement record, as I said, and it has to be performed before crossing. On the other side, it will be, I would say, easier. You need an export from the UK. You need to load your export in GVMS, again, to get the GMR. But also, you can also open a transit. Then you need to manage the import on EU side. You have different ways to do that. And the subject will be about where should I cross? If it's in Belgium or it's in France, the way you will do it could be different. Anyway, if you are using transit, or if you want to import directly, the subject is you need to think that in Dunkirk and Calais, there is not enough space to stop, except for SPS goods for sure. So it has to be preload for the French border. So communication, key for success, because you have an exporter. Anyway, it can be on UK side and EU side. You have an exporter and maybe with its broker. You have an importer, maybe with its custom broker. You have a carrier in the middle. It could be also the same company. Yeah? And then you have a border now with preload declarations that are mandatory on UK side and also on French side if you go through French border. You will use GVMS for the UK border with GMR, and you will use the smart border if you go through the French border. And you could, it's not mandatory, you could use the logistic envelope to cross the smart border. Yeah. To manage all that, you need some data. So MRN, which is the movement reference number, you have, it's a barcode you have on custom documents. If you go to the UK, you need, through the simplified procedure, you need a UK AOA number, ATACarnet if any, TIRCarnet, truck plate, because you'll need to link the truck plate to the GVMS to cross, to be able to cross. On French side, it will be linked, but at the border. But in the UK, it has to be linked before the border. And then you also have the Incoterms. And so you can understand very quickly that there is no no more data in this slide because it can go in any way. Because you don't know who, the exporter needs to give some data to the broker or the importer, but you don't know if they know themselves, perhaps not. So who's going to speak with whom? That's the big question there to cross the border. And it has to be managed if you want that your supply chain to be secured. The important point is communication. Once you have understood the process, the important thing is to understand who's going to do what. And for sure, if you have only one company managing your export, your import, and your crossing, it will be easier for communication. But if not, it's still possible. But you need to make sure, for example, if the importer is in the UK, you need to make sure that before crossing, the carrier will have everything, including the GMR. So yeah, I think we'll go to Q&A session if you have any question. I could just add one thing before. You still have a lot of subjects like IPPC rules for pallets. Just a reminder that the UK left the EU, so third country rules will apply, and all wooden pallets from the UK will have to be IPPC. So it's a treatment, a heat treatment. If not, at the beginning, to be honest, it will cross, but after they will organize control. And if your pallets are not the good ones, you could be stopped, and you could have fines and everything. So for sure, it will at the beginning it will start. They won't stop the border for sure, but you need to make sure everything will be correctly organized, because even if the truck is not stopped, you could have some control after, and then you will have to explain what you did. So that's why we need to be to respect the rules as soon as 1st of January. Anyway, it's our recommendation. So I don't know if we have any questions.
Well, firstly, thank you, Olivier. Absolutely superb presentation. One point that's come to mind, because we have only got a short time now. What overall impact is COVID-19 going to have on all of this wait time and the number of trucks both sides of the border that have to be performing whatever distances they have? How big a knock-on is that going to be to a situation that's a bit of a challenge anyway?
Yeah, in fact, the COVID, we have two impacts. First, the volumes. Because the trucks could be volume could be lower, and also we have another impact with COVID, which is that sorry, I have some noise. Which is that companies are not preparing at all today. To be honest, we have a very big issue because a lot of companies are managing COVID today. It's not to blame anybody, but our issue is that companies are not trying to understand what they need to do. They are just trying to recover from COVID, which is normal. But when they will need to wake up in October or November, it will be a big issue. And a lot of companies are still trying to understand if they need to do something. And a lot of companies are still not sure Brexit will happen. It can be strange, but it's what we see globally in Europe, on European side at least. And that's why we need to organize communication and to say to everybody, just prepare.
Thank you, Olivier. We have run out of time, but as mentioned earlier, if anyone has any additional questions or any questions, visit the GEFCO booth, request a meeting, and explain within your contact what you want to talk about and who you want to talk to, ideally, and then obviously they will get back to you and make different appointment times for you to have a more personal, in-depth chat. So thank you, really appreciate your presentation, and let's all keep safe and have a good day today. Thank you, Olivier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. Thank you too.
Bye.
Bye.